The 1992 Royal Rumble is heralded as the greatest Royal Rumble in history. It has a run time of 1 hour and 2 minutes and premiered January the 19th at New York's Knickerbocker Arena. This is the first Rumble to feature the legendary commentary team of Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Ring announcer Howard Finkel introduced the event to an audience of 17,000.
Now this, my friends, is a Royal Rumble. The greatest Rumble in history. The biggest in terms of stakes, in terms of legends, in terms of time, everything involving this Rumble screams wrestling classic. Before you even watch the Rumble, you have to go watch those pre-match promos. Like 90, you had a couple of wrestlers do pre-tapings, and my goodness, when you see the lineup, Macho Man Randy Savage, Jake the Snake Roberts, Ric Flair, woo, the Nature Boy. You also had the first appearance of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. This is one of the most star-studded Rumbles in history. Over half the wrestlers in this Rumble are legends, are Hall of Famers. And what makes this Rumble special is that for the first time until 2016, the WWF Championship is on the line. Yes, we actually have stakes to the Rumble this time. And what better stake could you have than fighting for the World Championship? We're used to people getting a shot at the title when they win the Rumble. No. When you win the Rumble, you're World Champion. And so literally anyone in this match could have been World Champion. It doesn't get better than that. Oh, can we just talk about commentary for a minute? Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon were amazing. It really makes you hate what's happened to commentary now in WWE. Heenan was hilarious, and Monsoon played so well off of him, it really makes you miss how good commentary used to be, man. What happened? What happened to the days of the Heenans and Monsoons? Although I'm someone that will always say Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler is the greatest commentary team in WWF, WWE history, it's hard to argue that Heenan and Monsoon weren't up there. To some, they are the best, and if you say they're the best, I'm not going to tell you otherwise. Watch this Rumble, you'll see why people say they're the best commentary team. What also made this cool was all the feuds interwoven into this. You had the stuff between Macho Man Randy Savage, ooh yeah, and Jake the Snake Roberts, that legendary feud where Macho Man got bit by one of Jake's snakes. You had the story of Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker, who had a couple of controversies with the World Championship, one at Survivor Series and one at Tuesday in Texas. President Jack Tunney vacated the title, and this Rumble would be used to crown a new champion. So as a fan, you're watching this and you're telling yourself, oh my goodness, who's gonna win? Is it possible for someone like Roddy Piper to win 2 titles? He recently won the Intercontinental Championship. I think he beat the Mountie. That's right. So he's entering this with the possibility of winning 2 titles. Is it possible for someone like Ric Flair to go from number 3 and win the entire thing? Spoiler alert, he does. Is it possible for someone like Hulk Hogan to win the championship an unprecedented 5th time? See, back in the day, a 5-time champion was unheard of. Nowadays, it's like, okay, if you're not a 5-time champion, you're nobody. Almost half the roster has at least 5. Regardless, though, this was a huge match and a huge moment. It came down to the final 4, which is Macho Man, Sid Justice, Ric Flair, and Hulk Hogan. My goodness, what a final 4! What a final 4 that is! As you all know, the ending sees Hulk Hogan being eliminated by Sid Justice, which actually got a huge pop from the audience. During this time, Hogan's popularity was dwindling. People were sick of the act. They were getting sick of the act. And when you think about it, it makes sense. This guy was the main event for almost a decade, and he hasn't changed his character one bit. So of course, naturally, fans would get sick of him. And then once again, babyface Hulk Hogan grabbed the arm of Sid Justice and helped Ric Flair win the World Championship. Because you know, the same guy that says, eat your vitamins and say your prayers, brother. Being a sore loser and helping Flair win, that's just part of the code, right? Regardless, what a way to debut for Ric Flair. And what's thing about this is, back in the NWA, he was known as Mr. Iron Man. He would have hour-long matches. The fact that he lasted an hour, over an hour in this match, that is just so perfect. That is so perfect for the Nature Boy. And I would not have done it any other way. This was awesome to see. I loved this match. Easily one of the best, if not the best, Royal Rumble in history. We still got plenty of Rumbles to watch, but I seriously doubt many of them will be better than this. But that's just my opinion. That's just my perspective. Let's get a much more clearer perspective. You know what time it is. Let's go to the votes.
The 1992 Royal Rumble match, the holy grail, the gold standard, the best. I could go on and on. This one right here, the 1992 Royal Rumble match, the undisputed greatest Royal Rumble match in history. Every other Royal Rumble match bows down to this match's greatness. Now, this Royal Rumble match, why is this? Everybody talks about the 1992 Royal Rumble match, the greatest of all time. Why do people talk about it as such? Well, go back and watch it, and then try and tell me it's not the greatest. Because this right here, the greatest, the holy grail, the best, the gold standard, if you will. This Royal Rumble was the first Royal Rumble match to have an official price. See, the year before, Hulk Hogan, unofficially by virtue of winning the 1991 Royal Rumble match, became number one contender. Here was the first time you had an official prize. The winner of the 1992 Royal Rumble match became World Wrestling Federation champion. So many stories with this match. Of course, the lead-in story was Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker. By virtue of being the last two WWF champions, each guy drew from numbers 20 through 30. The whole controversy with Undertaker winning the title, Hogan winning the title, there's a bunch of controversy there, so President Jack Tunney stripped Hogan of the title, declared it vacant, and the winner of this Royal Rumble match would be the new champion. You had the Randy Savage, Jake Roberts story. You had so many former WWF champions looking for one more chance at the WWF Championship. You had so many former tag and IC champions looking for the one piece of gold that eluded them their entire career. They were tag team champions, they were Intercontinental champions, and they would love to be World Wrestling Federation champion. Hulk Hogan going for an unprecedented fifth World Wrestling Federation Championship reign, which back in those days was a huge deal. See, nowadays, you're a five-time champion, who the hell isn't? Back in those days, you were a five-time champion, that was a big deal. You had a lot of guys, a lot of mid-card, lower-card guys who never had a chance given their one chance at being the WWF champion. Added to the show, you had Rowdy Roddy Piper's quest to win 2 titles in one night. He won the Intercontinental Championship earlier in the night. Here's his chance to bring home the WWF Championship. But the story everyone talks about was the story of Nature Boy Ric Flair. Since September, Ric Flair called himself the real world champion and was referred to as the best. Now, here's his chance. There are no backdoors. This is Flair's time to prove why he is the best. And that he did. Coming in at number 3, Ric Flair set the Iron Man mark at 1 hour, 0 minutes, 2 seconds, the first man to last 1 hour in a Royal Rumble match. This was Flair's breakout performance to the WWF audience that were WWF only fans. I mean, to those people. Now, if you were a WWF fan and you saw the NWA, you knew how great Flair was. But for the WWF only fans, they never saw Flair go an hour as NWA champion. WWF only fans only knew the WWF. So for them, this was their first taste of how great Ric Flair was. Sid Justice, in his first match back after injury, eliminated the most competitors with 6. Warlord, Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, Rick Martel, Sergeant Slaughter, and Hulk Hogan. The final 4 of this Rumble was Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Sid Justice, and Ric Flair. Name me a better Final 4 in Royal Rumble match history. Debate so in the comments section below. And after Sid eliminated Hogan to a huge ovation, Hogan, being the great babyface that he was, helped Ric Flair eliminate Sid. Ric Flair wins the 1992 Royal Rumble match and is your new undisputed World Wrestling Federation champion. The star power in this match: 16 Hall of Famers and counting. The stories: Ric Flair, Bobby Heenan's commentary. I forgot to talk about that. Bobby Heenan's commentary, the greatest commentary job by any commentator in any one match in WWE history. I dare anyone to say different. I mean, there are Royal Rumble matches out there. There are a ton of Royal Rumble matches out there. And there is the Royal Rumble match. And there have been a lot of great Royal Rumble matches in history. However, the 1992 Royal Rumble match, and I will stick to this till the day I die, the 1992 Royal Rumble match is the greatest Royal Rumble match in the history of the Royal Rumble match. I dare anyone to tell me different.
The 1992 Royal Rumble receives an honorary rating of A+.
Thank you so much for watching my 92 Rumble review. We still got plenty of Rumbles to watch, so hope to see you guys in the 93 review. This is your boy, Alyx signing off. Catch you guys next time. Peace.